State may call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state would next call Detective Bydlik.
Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Detective, good to see you, sir.
See you.
Watch your step as you come forward. If you need a glass of water, let us know. We'll do our best to accommodate you.
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Only thing I ask, if there's an objection made during the course of your testimony, just pause, let me rule on the objection. We'll go from there.
Certainly.
State may inquire, you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name.
My name is Robert Bydlik, Bydlik.
Thank you for pushing that microphone down just a tad. Sir. And who's your current employer?
I work for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
For how long?
15 years and a month or two.
What is your current assignment?
I work for the Zone 1 bike unit.
How long have you been with the bike unit?
A year and a half.
Prior to that, what was your assignment?
I did 3 months in patrol, and I did 11 months in the aggravated battery unit. I did 3.5 years in homicide, 3 years and change in aggravated battery, violent crimes task force, 2 months in burglary, 5.5 years in patrol.
Thank you, sir, for going down and doing a rundown.
No problem.
So during your tenure with JSO, I'm going to draw your attention back to literally 2 days before we get into 2019, and then in 2019, where were you assigned?
The homicide unit.
And what team were you on?
Team 6.
Who was on Team 6 at the time?
It was myself, Detective Billy Abbott, Detective Kenneth Guthrie, and Detective Samantha Dishman, and the sergeant was Sergeant Stephen Rudliff.
And was your partner at the time Detective Dishman?
Yes.
Now, Detective Bydlik, did you assist a part of your teammate, Detective Abbott, with the case involving defendant Johnathan Quiles and victim IS?
Yes.
Now, was the defendant Johnathan Quiles arrested on January 8th, 2019?
I believe he was arrested for unrelated charges.
Was he arrested in early January?
Yes.
Okay. And were you at the sheriff's office during that time the defendant was arrested?
Yes, I was.
Did you recognize that individual if you were to see him again?
I've seen him multiple times, yes.
Okay. Could you please look about the courtroom if you see the person you came to know as Johnathan Quiles?
Yes, it's the gentleman sitting over there with the defense and the glasses.
And what color shirt?
It's blue.
Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
So reflected.
Now, Detective Bydlik, before we get to that situation, did you actually assist with multiple different things throughout the tenure of this case?
Yes, I did.
And did one of those include doing a canvass in the area of Terry Parker High School?
Yes.
And I believe, did you and Detective Dishman do that together?
I think there was quite a few people out there. I don't recall exactly who I was with. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But you recall doing that?
Yes, I do.
And were you all looking to see if anyone had seen IS or some video surveillance?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to find anything regarding IS?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Now, drawing you back now to when the defendant was arrested in early of January 2019, was there a decision to do something at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that?
It was to introduce a wire into the jail.
Okay. And was this... Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. Were you saying something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I apologize. I thought I was interrupting you, sir. And was this done prior to the defendant even arriving at the jail?
Yes, it was.
And during this time frame, did you do a lot of the wire situations with the Duval County Jail?
Yes, ma'am. I had used the same gentleman previously, so I was very comfortable with them, and they understood when I would call them down, They understood that we were probably looking at somebody for a homicide, so there was very little conversation with them about what we really needed. They knew the routine, basically.
And is the individual that you're speaking of Morris McClendon?
Yes.
And since this occurred, has Morris McClendon passed?
Yes, ma'am.
However, was there someone else that you learned that was present during the wire?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was that?
George Jackson.
However, who is the individual that you actually gave the wire to?
Morris McClendon.
And is that the individual that you spoke with?
Yes.
Now, when you spoke with Morris McClendon, would this have been on January the 9th, 2019?
Yes.
And did you give him any information? And if so, what did you tell him?
I kept it very simple with, I call him Mo, with Mo. He's worked a couple other cases with me before, so it was very simple. Hey, I'm going to put a guy in here in the cell with you. If he starts talking about a homicide, just, you know what to do.
And that was just based on working with this individual previously?
Correct.
And beyond stating that the individual, was that Johnathan Quiles?
Yes, ma'am.
Was his name given?
I believe I might have shown him a picture. I usually show a picture just so they know exactly who we're talking about.
All right. So just to be clear, you would show a picture, and then you stated that he is a suspect. Did you state that he is a suspect in a homicide?
So we're looking at him for an involvement in a crime, usually. They knew that we were with a homicide unit, so you really didn't have to tell them. They knew it wasn't their first time. They've worked 5 or 6 cases for us before.
Okay, so it was implied.
Yes.
All right. And beyond that, was any other information given to Morris McClendon?
No.
Now, on January the 10th, 2019, did you go to the Duval County Jail?
Yes.
And did you obtain that wire?
I did.
And did you bring that wire then back to the sheriff's office?
Certainly did.
And then at that time, did you and then the lead detective, Detective Abbott, and the rest of the team members listen to it?
Yeah, I believe I listened to it first, and then I was like, ooh, okay, he probably needs to hear this. And I said, hey, you need to listen to this right here.
And you passed it on?
Right.
And obviously, Detective Abbott was the lead, and he was the one that would then go from there?
Correct.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Just real quick, when you met with, as you said, Mo, to set this up, you kind of went over the ground rules about what to do and things like that, right?
It was very brief. So I was introduced to Mo probably a year prior to that, maybe even a little bit longer. And he had worked 2 other cases for me prior to this one.
Okay.
So Mo knew the ground rules.
Did you give him some specific direction and questions to ask in this case?
No, sir.
Okay. In this, when you were setting him up for the wire, with how it's set up in the equipment you give them, forgive me, I think it's in their shirt, jersey, or whatever.
It's basically, it looks like a Zippo lighter,
Okay, is that,
and they put it wherever they put it.
that's the new one now?
That's the one that I had back then.
Okay. Are they able to turn that on and off?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if there's a break in there, in that Mo was able to turn this on, turn it off, and control what part of the conversation was recorded, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you don't know, once you give it to him, does he give you a signal and say when we're ready, or do you go and get him and bring him out?
If I haven't heard from him, I usually check the following day. A lot of times I get a phone call from a female that says, hey, Mo needs you at the jail.
Okay. And in this case, you got that call?
I'm not 100% sure in this case, sir. I'm sorry. I believe it was the following day, so it's a possibility I got a call late that evening, or I just went and picked it up the following day.
Okay. May I have a second with counsel, Judge?
No, thank you. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Just a couple of quick follow-ups.
Yes, sir.
Since Morris McClendon is the one that was controlling it, you don't know if and when he turned it off, if there were any threats in between or anything like that to get the statements that he was looking to get on tape, right?
I have no idea what was said when it wasn't on.
Okay. And you have no idea as to, other than George Jackson and Morris McClendon, who else was present either, do you?
I haven't listened to the wire in quite some time, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Detective, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Take care. Have a good day.